Right, we're on. This week's question is, why do I hit my irons well but not my driver? So it's a very, very good question. Why do I hit my irons well but not my driver? You'll find with your irons that dispersion is obviously in, distance control might be a little bit out, but with driver's pretty much going a similar distance most of the time, but dispersion's all over the place. Why is that? So there's numerous amount of planes we can swing the golf club on, or the shaft of the golf club on. Now, if I'm hitting towards the camera here, that there, the club swinging along, let's go, so it goes around this circle like so, that there would be a vertical plane, straight up and down, almost cricket-like. Okay. This here, if I turn this way, it would be a horizontal plane. And anywhere in between the two would be classed as an acceptable plane. Anywhere between the two would be classed as acceptable. So that's the horizontal plane, that is the vertical plane, and we're trying to swing somewhere in between, like so, to play golf. So I've got my sand down, I've got my 58-degree lob wedge. That is my most lofted club. And I also have my driver, which is a 10.5-degree, it's my least lofted club. Now the lie angles of these clubs are slightly different. So my most lofted club is a more upright lie angle. So therefore the angle, the plane that we're talking about, let's call it the shaft plane, is more upright. That would be with my driver. You can say flat my driver lies. So there's this discrepancy between the two. There was the horizontal plane, the vertical plane, sorry, and there was the horizontal plane that we talked about before, which was this and this. So anywhere in between the two is acceptable. So both of these planes are acceptable, even though they're slightly different, because each club is set up with a different lie angle. So having said that, the more vertical to the plane I get, or the closer to the vertical I get, the steeper my angle of attack is going to be. So if I take this plane here and I'm hitting golf ball, imagine golf ball's down here, and I'm taking this club and I'm hitting golf ball straight towards camera, I'm on a very, very upright plane, so I am on the vertical plane, horizontal plane, vertical plane, and my club shaft, my angle of attack is going to be very steep. So the angle there, between here and here is very steep. Okay, so that would be the angle of attack on the vertical plane if I was swinging purely vertical, like a cricket shot. Okay, if I lower the angle, the plane angle, to 45 degrees, let's say, the angle now, so we're now off the back bit there, is not as steep. So therefore my angle of attack into the golf ball on an inclined plane and not a vertical plane is not as steep. So therefore I can control the distance control better the further away I get from the vertical plane. This is the plane we're talking about. There's the ground. That there is a steep angle of attack. If I move this to 45 degrees, move it back, you'll see the angle of attack is reduced. So the steeper angle of attack, we come down, the more vertical plane, the harder it is to control distance. But the easier it is to keep the club squarer to the target for longer. So I can control path a lot better, but I can't control the angle of attack as well. So distance control's out, but my path's better, so I'm going to get straighter shot, dispersion's in. When I take driver, which lies flatter, and when I lie flat around here, with the horizontal plane, you can see my club coming from the end of that mat. It's harder to control because I'm no longer squarer to the line, to the end of the mat. So in between is optimal. The lower I get with my lie angle of my shaft or the swing plane, the harder it is to control the path of the golf club. There's hard to control path, whereas there, in relation to the edge of the mat, I can swing straight back and straight through on path, on plane, or on the path every time. So that would explain why we can get our irons to go straighter than we can our driver. So dispersion's in with irons, because we've got the club going on a more neutral path or an easier to control path, because the angle of attack is steeper. So the horizontal plane, or we're on a vertical plane. So it's easier to swing down the target because we're swinging squarer. Whereas when we reduce the lie angle of the club and we swing on a different plane, we're much more path, is much more curve, so it's harder to control. So therefore our dispersion is going to be out. So if we swing out to in with driver, we're going to swing further out to in than we are with the iron because of the lie angle. However, the distance control thing with the driver, because the angle of attack is not as steep because we're on a flatter plane, therefore our distance control is better, so we can slice a driver, we can hit a bad driver 250 yards out to the right, out to the left, but our distance control is pretty close, but our dispersion's out. Whereas with irons, our distance control with wedges and things is harder to control, but we can keep them online a lot better because it's on a steeper plane. That is why you can hit your irons more consistently or keep them in play a lot better than your driver. So that was quite confusing, but basically the more upright the lie angle, the more upright the swing plane, the straighter we're going to keep the ball flight. So if we err on this side, we're going to keep the ball flight straighter. If we swing too flat, the path's going to move around too much and we're going to get a wider dispersion. However, the more upright we are, the distance control's harder, and the flatter we are, distance control is much easier to control. Bryson DeChambeau, everything's 7-iron, so therefore he's in the middle of the bag, so he sacrifices a little bit with the wedges, but he gains overall, I feel, because he's got his lie angle the same as 7-iron with every club, every iron. There we go, clever man, he's so accurate with 3, 4, 5, 6, 7-iron because he's got the lie angle down and therefore his dispersion's not nearly as far out and his distance control's better because it's much more neutral. Whereas his wedges, his lie angle's a little bit flat for the club he's hitting in there, so dispersion's a little bit out, and distance control therefore is also compromised a fraction. But not quite as, you know what I mean. Guys, if you subscribe to my channel, thank you very much. If you've not, it's just a little click on the link below. It says subscribe, that's probably the button to hit. Also the bell notification gives you instant notifications of all my videos, and if you hit the thumbs up button, that shares it around YouTube and everyone's a winner. Thank you.